Folks, what's going on? Hey, so this take 100 right here. I got my man Weldon right now, so he's trying to get his pup Roxie, who's a Cane Corso, to sit and stay in place. So, as it pertains to dogs, especially guardian dogs and stuff like that, folks, man, when new people come around, there is excitement. There could be excitement mixed with a little bit of nerves, mixed with whatever may be going on. Smells coming off of us, especially from my own dogs and stuff. But we here, folks, because he's switching his pup over to raw dog food for the first time, right?
Yep, first time.
For the first time. And he's going to Iron Dog Raw. And so he's been looking at it for a minute and stuff. And so what we're actually going to do today, we're going to use this time and this moment to show new customers out there, potential customers, whether if you got Iron Dog Raw in your fridge or if you got another brand, just the easy way to go about feeding your dog raw. Something simple. I understand that the meals out there can definitely become extreme, and that can scare a lot of new pet parents away that's trying to go raw, especially when you start seeing a ton of different items out there in food and stuff. And so what he actually got is, I did bring some samples over of our freeze dry raw that he could go ahead and use as training treats. You guys already know our freeze dry raw muscle blend. It's just food, folks. You give it to your dog as a meal in place of the frozen. If not, you can use it as training treats. So you're definitely gonna hook them up with that. And then Roxie is gonna be getting the titanium blend, which is our newest blend that we just launched early in March. Oh, if you wanna, we don't know why. It could be the food, or if you ready to come over here. But yeah, we're gonna get set up. So real quick, so this is my man Weldon. Me and Weldon, we knew each other for a few years now, from church and stuff. And so he got into the breed and stuff. He had her for about a year. She's turning a year.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yep, tomorrow, 1 year.
And so you might as well say this is gonna be a little birthday gift for her and stuff like that. But we're gonna go ahead and get set up, folks. There ain't gonna be no editing, no cutting, anything like that. We just get straight into it. You guys are gonna watch the whole video, you're gonna watch it, and we're gonna go from there. So basically, right, it's just when it comes to raw feeding, right? What's the stuff out there that you see as it pertains to raw feeding?
I mean, it's pros and cons. I've heard sometimes raw food gives them bad digestive periods and things like that, but I also heard raw food is good for this kind of food. So definitely wanted to try it out, and he comes highly recommended, so definitely wanted to give it a try.
And that's the thing, folks, right? It's whether it's it could be from friends, it could be from online, it could be actually from the vets. Most of the time it's from vets, folks, that vets are deterring pet parents away from feeding their dog raw. But here's the one question I gotta ask you, folks. Dogs, they have been around for hundreds of thousands of years. Kibble has only been out since the 1930s and 1940s. What have dogs been eating since then? Please tell me, what have they been eating? And so when we have the vets that are starting to scare pet parents away from what dogs are supposed to be eating, which is other animal sources and stuff, right? And telling the dogs to get on kibble, telling the pet parents to put the dogs on kibble and stuff. And then the questions start arising when we start seeing dogs breaking out with allergies and stuff like that, skin falling out. 1 out of 3, some other articles out there say 1 out of 4 dogs are getting cancer. 1 out of 4, that's a high number, folks. You there? Yeah. So you see some that'll say 1 out of 3 and 1 out of 4. And so, but here's one thing, I'm gonna put this out there. It's this. For the pet parents that's out there, and even if you want to, right? If you go to the vet and she see how healthy your dog is looking and stuff like that, and you say she's on a raw diet, ask your vet this question. Did you study dog nutrition while you was in school? A good 90% of vets don't study dog nutrition. And so the information they giving you is not backed by any studies or research, independent research that they did. And so what you have is, you have the veterinarian schools that are backed by the big kibble manufacturers and stuff. They funnel in hundreds of millions of dollars into the school, which is why you're seeing a large majority of veterinarian schools a ton of kibble, especially Purina Pro. But the Purina brand, which would be, I think Purina, you got Mars and so on and so forth. You go to PetSmart. What's the hospital that's connected to PetSmart? Banfield Health. Who owns Banfield Health? The Mars Corporation. Who owns most of the kibble that's in PetSmart on the shelves? Even though you see a bunch of different bag names and stuff, who owns it? The Mars Corporation, which is the same corporation that owns all the processed cereal companies and stuff like that that we tend to put in our bodies, which at times can be crap. And you can see I've been eating crap. But so check this out. For new pet parents, what do you do? Where do you start at? And I say is this: don't make it. A lot of pet parents make it complicated on themselves by trying to do it themselves. If you have time to do it yourself by getting the protein sources, getting the organs, and getting the bone, and getting the ratios, and cutting it up and storing it, go for it. But you can alleviate all the stress and all the pain by already getting a pre-made raw dog food blend out there that will, at least for our company, will have the minimum requirements. If not, well, be honest with you, we're exceeding, right? We're exceeding. But you will hear when it pertains to the ratios and stuff, 80-10-10. That's 80% protein, right? 10% bone and 10% organ. And so, as you guys know, in our titanium blend, we got beef, we got fish, we got green tripe, we got fruits and veggies all in this thing right here, folks. And so we gonna hook her up today, see how she doing. But you know what? Let's see how she does with the freeze dry, because right now he put it in place. And so, you know, when you put your dog in place and your dogs listen, you know, they get a reward. So let's just see how she does with the freeze dry. This is her first time, folks. You can keep the camera on her, but folks, check this out. As you seen with that, right? That initial reaction, that's with any new food that you introduce to a dog. They're gonna start sniffing it and smelling it. You may have to drop it or bouncing off the floor and stuff, but once they get a taste, folks, they love it. Now, for the new people out there, you probably got a question. Well, it's your freeze dry, what's in it? This is our muscle blend, folks. That's all it is. Our muscle blend frozen raw dog food. It's just in a freeze dry state. They go into these huge machines and the moisture is sucked out of it, and this is what we get. And so there's nothing else added to it. And so we're gonna go ahead and hook it up. And so your first time feeding raw, right? The number one thing I always recommend is 100% organic pumpkin. You wanna give 1 to 2 tablespoons with each meal. So if, let's say you feed her once a day, 2 tablespoons would be good, right? If you feed her twice a day, then just 1 tablespoon per meal. And so this is good on the digestive system. It helps them when, taking in new food, but when it comes to raw dog food, it helps with firming up the stew and stuff. So ton of fiber, ton of good fiber and stuff. And so let me go ahead, we're gonna get this started, folks. Matter of fact, here's what we're gonna do. So, hold up, before I ain't got it. You can use, matter of fact, we're gonna use this phone. You can go to my website on your phone. So check this out, right? So here's the thing. So I'm already in mode. I already know what to do as far as cutting it up, chopping it up and stuff like that. And so what we about to do is, with this pup, he needs to know how much he needs to feed his dog on a daily basis. So right now we're going to actually have him go to our website. He's going to see he's going to get the feeding calculator. And so we're going to end up plugging in her age, her last weight, and we're going to see how much she's supposed to eat daily. Yep, so go to feeding, click on the 3 bars, yep. Go to learn. Go to feeding guidelines. Scroll down, keep scrolling, right there, yep. Plug in her weight, then plug in her age, what it says. So she's supposed to be eating 3.6 pounds per day. So this is a 2-pound tube. So basically what he would actually give his pup is, she'd get a whole 2 pound, and she'd get about 3/4 of another 2 pound. And so you'll actually have some remaining over. You could just toss that into a Ziploc bag, put it in the fridge. If you put it in the fridge, right, we go by FDA guidelines. It's good for 3 to 4 days, but definitely, you know, give it to her the next day with the others and stuff. And so to the pet parents out there, right? So let's just go with our titanium blend. First and foremost, I want to say thanks to all our customers out there. Since we launched this blend in March, this thing has been high demand, folks, high demand. We have been selling out. We have been selling out each week since we launched it and stuff. And I appreciate our customers who was waiting on orders for last Monday. They got shipped out today. And so, but we appreciate the love and support that we've been getting from everybody. So you got a question, what's in here? We got beef muscle. We got wild caught ground pollock, folks, which comes from the Great Lakes. We got beef bone. We got beef tripe. We got beef liver. We got spleen. We got kidneys. We got heart. We got beef trachea. We got green beans, zucchini, celery, blueberries, pumpkin, which we got some right here, but spinach, beets, and apples, folks. And so though you start her out on this, right? You don't have to continue this. You can rotate to any other blend that's on our website and stuff. And so if you want to go with the muscle blend, the supreme blend, strength and stamina, it's all up to you and what you want to get. But I say definitely, you know, with a different variety, always switch it up and stuff like that. And so, but we're gonna go ahead and crack this thing open. So folks, when it pertains to our blends and stuff, right? Yeah, Tractor Supply got them, man. They got these huge ones. Yeah. And so as it pertains to our blend, folks, right? We don't, when we grind, we want our stuff chunky, right? Not just our meat, but the fruits and stuff as well. There's other companies out there, folks, and stuff like that, where the blends and stuff, where the fruits and veggies, you can't even see them, folks. They so, I mean, we don't even know if it's in there. But in ours, you can actually see all the fruits and veggies and fats that's in it. I don't know if that's a piece of zucchini or green bean. We got blueberries in here. We got pumpkin. And you can see everything, folks. And so here's what I'm not going to do. That's a blueberry right there. Let me add a little bit of pumpkin to this. So check this out, folks, right? What you would get from certain dogs, this is just something I've seen over time and stuff like that. Some dogs don't like a lot of smells or a lot of different things in their food. And so the pumpkin, I'm going to put it on the side. Has she ever had pumpkin before? Yeah, all right. You got a spoon? Oh. And so I'm gonna just put 1 teaspoon on the side. And then we're gonna see how she do. Again, it's her first time eating it. It's gonna be 1,000 different smells, folks. Not actually 1,000, but it's a ton of smells. You gotta think of fruits and veggies. You want it? We can go in the garage. Yeah. All right, so folks, so check this out. We in the garage right now. We gonna get this. Back it up. It look like she's ready. So, but we gonna let him feed her. And so this is her first time eating it. Folks, make sure you always put pumpkin in. We'll go for it.
Wait. Sit down. Sit. Okay. No hesitation.
She's like, hold up. Get away from me.
We got recorded before eating food.
We'll probably have somebody standing over her. Folks. So we gonna see if she finishes this. She's like, hold on, I ain't gonna stop me. It's my steak. Steak dinner.
I would. It was probably about 4 months. Tried digging at her bowl. She got the ground. I said,
Oh, food aggression. Nah, you know, you got.
We ain't doing that.
Nah. If a dog has food aggression, yeah, you gotta.
Yeah, we nipped that in the bud. That's why I'm trying to see a different food to make her revert back.
Now the only time, well, I don't know if you plan on getting another one.
I do.
Okay. The only time I don't stop food aggression is if it's one of the other dogs in the pack.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you gotta allow them to, look at the face. Folks, she's still looking, which means she loves it. So this is some good stuff.
Come here.
So folks, dogs that are on a raw diet, what you're gonna get? You're gonna get healthier stews. The stews will be a lot smaller. Your dogs will drink less water. And so once she's on raw dog food and she's eating it consistently, like no kibble at all, you're gonna see her drink less water. So if she goes by the bowl, a water bowl, and you like trying to get her to drink, but she's not drinking and stuff, she's hydrated. You know, dogs will drink if they, thirsty and stuff like that. She's still smelling, folks, and looking for some more food. I ain't got no more. He got all the food now. And so, but yeah, so healthier stew, shinier coat, overall healthy organs, internally, externally, and stuff like that. Common stuff that our pet parents see with their dogs. Number one, that coat looking shiny.
Roxie, here.
When your dogs are eating raw meaty bones, teeth are a lot healthier and stuff. Stews are smaller, stews are less smellier. And so the other thing too, right? If you plan to introduce raw meaty bones, right? We got raw meaty bones online.
I was gonna ask you about that, but I didn't look through the website first to see which ones I wanted. I was gonna ask you to bring some if you had some.
I'm out. I am. I'm out, man.
Jeez.
I am out. The only raw meaty bone I got, and I got to get more. And I seen them in there, and I did. I was like, man, I should bring these, but I got 4-inch femur bones. It's just one pack, but I need them for my dogs so they can clean their teeth. Folks, check this out, right? Owning a pet company doesn't mean that you will always have a ton of food on hand. I only got 2 deep freezers, and all of them have our blends in it. And if I don't have space, I ain't gonna have no raw meaty bones or anything like that. And stuff, folks. Ash, pull that cord up right there at the end. So if you want raw meaty bones, my go-to option.
I have no idea.
My go-to option would be duck feet. Duck feet, duck wings. Duck heads, though duck heads is a raw meaty bone, it doesn't, my recommendation, you're not going to get enough bone content in it to help firm up that stew. And so, for instance, you go to the vet, right? Has the vet ever cleaned her anal glands?
No.
What about groomer?
The groomer
Has. Okay, so check this out. Ash, you don't put, one thing you know is you never put your hand in a dog's face, little girl. They chop off your fingers.
Roxie plates.
So, here's the thing. When you get raw meaty bones, right, and you give a good amount, the stew will come out chalky. And when the stew comes out chalky, they're not strained. You'll see them squatting and they'll be pooping it out and it'll probably come out crumbly or probably come out hard. That's good because after it comes out, if you pay attention, you'll see anal gland like juice come out. Folks, don't judge me, man. But that just when you get down to the science and everything, you be watching, but yeah. that will clean the dog's anal glands. So that way you can save you 50 bucks or 100 bucks, whatever your vets are charging. If you feed a good amount of bone, folks, right? And they pooping, that will clean the anal glands. Save your money. But if you want to spend it, go for it. The one thing I just say is, how are wolves cleaning their anal glands in the wild, folks? You ain't got vets out there or groomers out there that's cleaning it. And so, but he's good to go. Roxie's good to go. We gonna hook him up with some stuff real quick. And we're gonna go from there, folks. I mean, you can bring him back in if you want, or you put her up. And so, folks, so check this out, right? We about to wrap everything up. So even though I'm hooking them up with some samples right now. And so these samples are from the other day when we had our little vendor event in Mechanicsburg, PA, and stuff that we was giving these things out. And so what we're gonna do right now is a little unboxing. I had some freeze dry stuff I had sent to me, folks, because I knew that the event that we was going through, all the freeze dry that I had on hand, at least in packages, I gave all out. Granted, I got freeze dry at the house. I got a couple 25 pounders and stuff like that sitting in boxes and stuff. But as far as my stuff already in packages, that way I could show people or whatever the case may be, we gave all that stuff out the other day at the event. And so what we're gonna do is, in addition to that, that's the beef liver right there. That's the beef heart. That's the muscle blend. And so what we're gonna do, we're gonna hook them up. We're gonna hook them up with a 3-pound bag of the muscle blend. So you can feed this as a meal or treats, whichever one. You can do both.
I like treats better.
And so go for it. You gotta keep these as well, or give these to, if you know other people with pets, you know, hey, try this. You ain't getting nothing out my bag. But
that's another one of my boys. He gotta come in.
Okay.
I live 10 minutes away.
All right, bet. And so, folks, that's it. So yeah, with that, if you, well, you say you're gonna do that treat, but if you're gonna give it as a meal, right? Reconstitute, add some moisture back to it, water, bone broth, or goat's milk. You don't need to soak it, you just spray just the top of it, let it sit for a minute so it can take that moisture, and then other than that, man, your pup good to go, man. Oh wait, hold on, so we're gonna show what Roxie getting. I'm gonna need my cooler though. You got a deep freezer, or how you want it?
I'll figure it out. We can
Want me to sit in your sink?
yeah.
All right, so we hooking them up with some titanium, folks. They still frozen, so. This one thawed out because I didn't know how many. I thought I had thawed this out because I didn't know how many you wanted to feed her, but. So I say do the math on it, you know, as far as how long this will last. It probably lasts a week depending on how you feed it and stuff. But other than that, folks, we out. You can have that pumpkin. That's yours. So real quick before folks, check this out. You get blood everywhere, folks, clean that stuff up. Spray it down, whatever the case may be. You got trap. And so here's the other thing, because I know the question's gonna come. We fed her, so folks, when it comes to transition dogs to raw dog food, it is the pet parent's choice. If I have to give a percentage out there, I'll probably say about a little over 75% of our customers, when they switch into raw dog food for the first time, they go straight 100%. Some will either fast their dogs for 24 hours, no food, and then go 100% the next following day. Others, once they get it in, they go straight 100%. Other pet parents choose to go a slow transition where they would feed 25% of the new food and then 75% of the old food for the first 3 days. Then 3 days after that, 50-50. Then the next 3 days after that, 75% new, 25% old food. And then once that 3-day period is done, they go complete 100%. It's up to you folks as it pertains to the particular transition that you want to do. At the end of the day, you're giving natural products to your dogs. Other than that, folks, we out. You got anything you want to say to the people out there, man?
I would highly recommend you guys figure out, you know, what way, what raw food you want to feed your dogs. I highly recommend it for certain breeds, but yeah, you know, it's pet owner's choice. But highly recommend it. I definitely appreciate it.
It's all good, man. It's all good. Thank you. Other than that, folks, we out. Peace.